Serial killer Bruce McArthur will be sentenced this morning for killing 8 men. City News reporter Adrian Gabriel standing by live right now outside of the University Avenue courthouse with a very important decision that the judge must make this morning. Adrian has been following this story since the very beginning. Adrian, one question a lot of people had was you heard from many family, community member, friends. You didn't hear from Bruce McArthur earlier this week.
No, we did not. Not a huge surprise. Yesterday I was speaking with a former prosecutor and I asked him, what kind of discussions, he's now a defense attorney, what kind of discussions would have had with Bruce McArthur about speaking? And he said, really, you need to see if Bruce had anything really positive to say, anything that could perhaps impact the judge's decision. And really, in this case, what can Bruce McArthur say, even if he addressed the families? Can he show remorse? He's killed 8 men. Where was the remorse after he killed his first victim, or his second, or his 8th? So no surprise there. We did hear Bruce McArthur speak, though more than just a couple words. He said to the justice when he was asked to stand and asked if he wanted to say anything, and he said, "No, I've spoken to my counsel. I do not want to say anything." He said it in a very hushed, quiet voice. This has been an emotional week, an emotional more than a year for the families involved, as well as community members involved this morning. I'm also joined by Karen Fraser. Karen, you had your friendship, your trust, your home violated by Bruce McArthur. He buried the remains of 8 men on and around your property. On a morning like this, when we are expecting a sentence for Bruce McArthur, closure is a hard thing to find, but what will this morning mean for you?
I've given it some thought. I don't think it'll mean much this morning. It'll just sort of wash over me, and then I'll go home and think, and little bits will float in, and then I hope I can form a reaction and opinion that I can be comfortable with. I don't think this is the end, but it's certainly the end of this part of it.
So you hope there's a little bit of turning the page for your life, because it has been uprooted over the last year plus.
Yes, it has. Sorry, I'm doing the all-Canadian drip. I'm not really emotionally distraught after saying how calm I am. It's been an interesting year. We've tried very hard to get positives, and we've found some new friendships. Oddly, our neighborhood is much closer. Much more careful with each other, more caring. But it's hard to balance a small good with overwhelming sadness and horror.
Melanie just asked me my thoughts about the fact Bruce McArthur didn't say anything in court when he was given his legal right to this week. Is there anything Bruce could say to you, a friendship that you had for over a decade with this man?
No, because the man I thought I knew actually doesn't exist. So words from a non-existent person wouldn't mean anything to me.
Karen, you and I have talked about his family. I know Bruce McArthur's family came to your home just a few weeks back to collect some of his belongings that had been left over, things that police and forensics didn't take with them. What was his family like, in this situation, knowing what at the time was alleged and what was to come?
Very sad, of course, despairing. I don't know if you call it a brave face, calm, but obviously just in tremendous pain. So we helped them load up the truck and they left.
Your conversations with them, how did those go?
I think we all understood how difficult it was for all of us. There wasn't much we could talk about except the task at hand, and wish them well. And I'll be calling Todd tomorrow and have a talk with him if he wants to. I don't know how he feels it now. Some time has passed since they came to the garage.
Today, Justice McMahon has a decision in front of him. He has to decide how long until Bruce McArthur is eligible for parole. The prosecution has asked for 50 years. The defense is asking for 25 years. What are your thoughts?
I would go for the 50 in case he's one of the growing number of Canadians who are going to live well over 100.
It's important for yourself, for the families, to not ever have to worry about having to deal with this again.
That's right. No, just make him disappear.
Thank you for your time this morning, Karen. We appreciate it. Melanie, going to be quite a morning here, obviously, as we've mentioned, an emotional day. We're going to wait and hear what Justice John McMahon decides. He has quite the decision in front of him.
All right, Adrian, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. And you can stay with Adrian. Follow him on Twitter @citynews.ca for updates on this sentencing as well. Stay with City News at 5 and 6.